So quadratic functions assignment 2, this would be the solutions that you should have worked your way through. So you're asked to sketch the graph of this function here. Clearly it says on your graph, show the coordinates of the turning point and the point of intersection with the y-axis. So we need to be able to get that information before we can actually sketch the graph. So there's a couple of things that you should be paying attention to. It is a positive x squared, so that being the case, if you're positive, right, positive x squared term, it means your graph is shaped. You're a nice smiley person, so graph's going to be shaped that way. So we know that from just by looking, the x is inside the bracket, there's no negative beside it. So what else can we tell from this? The equation, the turning point. So the number inside the bracket with the x, that helps you get the x coordinate of your turning point. So your turning point is going to be the opposite sign. Always try and remember that for the x one, right, it's the opposite sign from what's in the brackets. So you've got a -3 in there, so it's going to be +3 when you write your x coordinate down, and your y coordinate will be just exactly the same. So it is +5, right? Your x coordinate though is +3, not -3, so 3, 5, that's our turning point. And as I've just said, because it's going to be, the graph is going to be shaped this way, that's going to mean a minimum turning point is what we would be looking for, right? Minimum, that's what that's referred to, because it comes down to a low point and then it rises back up the way. So if it asks you about the nature of the turning point, that's what it's talking about. It's talking about a minimum turning point. Now the y-intercept, how do we get that? Well, points on the y-axis have got x equal to 0. So this is where you put x equals 0 in your equation, and you work out what the y value will need to be. So y will be equal to 2 times nothing, take away 3 squared plus 5. Right, this means 2 times 0 minus 3 in that bracket is -3. That's getting squared, and then you are adding on 5. So we're going to have y equals -3 squared. Any negative number being squared is +9. If you square numbers on the calculator, please make sure you put brackets around it. So -3 squared gives you +9 plus 5. So 2 times 9 is 18, add 5 would give us 23. So our y-intercept will be the point 0, 23. So that's how you would get, the first mark would be your turning point, second mark getting the y-intercept. Now your graph, you begin by plotting, so draw your axes and you would plot very roughly where the turning point is. You're not having to do this on a square grid, it's just on plain paper, a little sketch. What would that look like? So we always do the x first, so roughly 3 along, 5 up, and you position your point. We know it's a minimum, so the graph needs to be like that. So you need to draw a nice parabola shape, label your minimum point with the coordinates beside it. So you've got 3, 5, and the other point that needs to be there is your y-intercept, and you need to label beside that, and that's it. That's what you're asked to do for your graph, and that will get you 3 marks, but you need the turning point plotted, you need the shape of the graph to be correct, you need the coordinates written beside it, so make sure you've done that. The second question that you were asked to do was using the graphs already drawn for you, and it's one of these graphs that slightly less complicated than the one above because it goes through the origin. When it goes through the point 0, 0 as your turning point, then the equation just looks like this. It's y equals something times x squared. So here we know the point 3 minus 18 lies on the graph. So that 3, that's your x. So you're going to be putting x equals 3, and the minus 18 is the y value. So in this equation, y equals kx squared. Right, we're subbing into that. We're going to have minus 18 equals, the k is what you're trying to work out, and our x is 3, and that's getting squared. So minus 18 equals k times 3 squared is 9. We can then write that as minus 18 equals, we can put the 9 in front of the k, so it's 9k. I would switch that round, make that 9k equals negative 18, and then you can quickly see to get the k value I need to be dividing by 9 on each side, so we will get k equals negative 2. So how do you get your marks there? Your 2 marks, you will get 1 mark for subbing in to the equation for your x and y, making sure you get it round the right way, and the other way is for the correct value at the bottom.